It started with a single video, a father kneeling before his 20-year-old daughter. Offering a ring and a promise, the clip looked like a proposal. But the caption read, "My forever princess, a pledge of purity." Within hours, TikTok viewers were divided, some calling it faith, others calling it control. Reaction videos spread faster than the original post. Each one asked the same question: where is the line between love and possession? News outlets picked it up, and experts called it a modern echo of purity culture, an old ritual reborn for the algorithm. But the account vanished as quickly as it appeared, leaving only mirrors and roiplodes, a digital ghost of a family ritual the internet could never unsee. The TikTok appeared on a Sunday afternoon, sunlight through curtains. A father kneeling before his 20-year-old daughter, holding a small ring box. Viewers stopped scrolling. It looked like a proposal, but the caption read, "My forever princess, a promise of purity." Within minutes, the comment section filled with confusion and unease. Some called it beautiful faith. Others called it emotional control. The daughter smiled, but her expression, caught between pride and discomfort, became the moment's focus. Reposts exploded across TikTok, Reddit, and YouTube. Reaction videos multiplied. Psychologists and pastors weighed in, drawing an invisible line between devotion and dominance. The clip turned into a cultural mirror. People projected their own experiences of religion, family, and power onto a 20-second video. Then mainstream outlets arrived. Articles framed it as Purity Culture 2.0, an ancient idea reborn through filters and trending audio. Reporters reached out to the family. The father said it was simply an act of faith, but online the meaning was already decided. By day's end, the account vanished. The deletion only made the myth stronger. Re-uploads appeared with new titles, the most uncomfortable TikTok ever posted. What remained was an image, not of scandal, but of discomfort, proof that sincerity, when broadcast to millions, can feel like theater. File number 035 opens here, a promise made public, and a family caught inside its own performance. The viral clip didn't appear in a vacuum. Behind it stood decades of doctrine, a belief that purity could be protected like property. In the late 1990s, churches across America hosted father-daughter purity balls. Daughters pledged chastity. Fathers vowed guardianship. The rings, the vows, the music, they looked like weddings, only without the groom. The movement promised safety through obedience, but psychologists later called it emotional entanglement, love taught through control. By the 2020s, the ceremonies had faded until social media revived them. Algorithms discovered that faith-based family content performed well. Bright lighting, gentle background tracks, and emotional sincerity. The purity ring returned, not as a sermon, but as a trend. Each upload repeated the same aesthetic: soft smiles, fatherly promises, captions about virtue, all edited for watch time. What once happened in private halls now unfolded before millions. The ritual became a broadcast. Critics said this was how belief turns performative. When devotion becomes display, it stops being faith and starts being theater. The daughter's smile in that original video carried that contradiction. Devotion and discomfort fused in one frame. It wasn't scandal. It was tension between affection and authority, between love offered and love owned. TikTok didn't invent purity culture. It simply gave it a stage that never closes. The platform's algorithm thrives on emotion. Anything that makes viewers linger, react, or argue rises to the surface. When the Purity Ring video appeared, it had every ingredient: sentiment, controversy, family, faith. The machine didn't judge. It amplified each replay, strengthened the signal. Commenters fought, stitched, and duetted. Turning belief into content, the system learned that discomfort keeps people watching longer than joy. Analysts call this algorithmic intimacy, the illusion that the viewer is inside the family's living room, allowed to witness something sacred and forbidden at once. The father's words, "I vow to protect your purity," became a meme. Remixed into songs and parodies, yet every repost blurred the line further between critique and curiosity. The daughter's image traveled farther than she ever could. Her expression became a reaction template, her silence a trending sound. In 2025. Attention is currency, and Purity went viral because it sold both virtue and discomfort in a single clip. The backlash came in waves, stitches, duets, and think pieces flooding every feed. What began as one family's devotion became an argument about faith, control, and the limits of love. Critics said it blurred parental boundaries. Defenders said it honored divine design. Pastors praised the gesture as purity renewed. Therapists warned it echoed emotional dependency. Entire communities divided overnight. One side quoted scripture, the other cited psychology. And between them stood a father and daughter who never spoke again publicly. Hashtags turned into banners. Hashtag protect her became hashtag let her choose. Each trend reframed the same footage until it became propaganda for both sides. News panels debated intent. Commentators measured body language like detectives. In the noise, the meaning disappeared. Only the spectacle remained. Experts later called it a case study in moral contagion, a digital echo chamber where outrage and righteousness feed each other in perfect rhythm. The more people argued about purity, the further the real family receded. Reduced to symbols in a global sermon, long before TikTok, psychologists were studying the effects of purity culture on self-image. They found that abstinence pledges built loyalty, but also anxiety, a sense that worth was conditional, not inherent for many women raised in those systems. Purity became a performance, innocence as identity, obedience as love. The promise that a father could protect his daughter's virtue blurred emotional boundaries that healthy adulthood requires. In the viral video, viewers felt that tension without naming it, the quiet discomfort of affection mixed with ownership. Experts call this enmeshment. When love is measured by control and autonomy feels like betrayal, it's not abuse by intent, but harm by confusion, a misunderstanding sanctified by culture. Online, the ritual looked tender. To a psychologist, it looked like conditioning, an equation of purity equals safety, purity equals love. The tragedy is that both father and daughter likely believed they were expressing devotion, but purity narratives rarely survive visibility. Once shared, they become self-contradictory, because purity demands privacy to exist. Months after the account disappeared, the video still circulates, mirrored, remixed, and slowed until it feels timeless. Each repost claims a new meaning. To some, it's a cautionary tale about control. To others, a nostalgic symbol of faith. The same 20 seconds now live dozens of digital lives. The daughter remains silent. Her silence has become part of the story, interpreted, debated, owned by strangers. The father's words echo in edits and memes detached from his voice. Even sincerity becomes raw material once it meets the feed. Cultural historians call this the ritual replayed, when technology turns devotion into infinite playback. It isn't the act that haunts us. It's the repetition. Every share is a reenactment, a small vow renewed by attention. What began as protection became performance. What began as love became data. And yet, beneath the critique and irony, people still search the comments for something human. Proof that tenderness can survive exposure. File number 035 closes here, where faith, control, and visibility collapse into one image: a father, a daughter, a ring, forever replaying even after the signal ends. If you thought the horror ended here, you're wrong. What other dark rituals and forbidden practices are still being performed in secret? Dive deeper into the chilling world of haunted ceremonies, banned footage, and eerie folklore that refuses to stay buried. Click on the playlist to uncover terrifying recordings, lost evidence, and disturbing stories they never wanted you to see. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for weekly uploads of spine-tingling footage and dark tales that echo from the shadows. This is the Forbidden's Archive, where the hidden truth and haunting evidence come to life.